All right, so just going into this practice today, Avery talked about, of course, trying to get the confidence back. What do you think you guys can do to get that back starting with practice?
I don't know if there's anything specific as much as, the ball going in the basket will help. And we've had just long stretches here of late, even with guys that we know are proven shot makers, and then it kind of becomes a thing. And basketball is so much about confidence and positive energy that when you can get some of the other stuff in there and it really makes things hard. Because the truth is, I really feel like our defense is as good as it's been since I've been here, and that includes the year that I was an assistant coach when we had the #1 offensive efficiency team in the country. I think this is the best defensive team that we've had. But you can't score 40 and win. That's just the bottom line. So we got to find a way to get these guys believing in themselves a little bit more, and hopefully Wednesday will be a start to that.
Do you shake things up in practice? What do you do? I mean, how do you find
Yeah, I mean, certainly you got to look at what you're doing in every way. I'm not above reproach on anything, so we'll shoot more. Maybe we haven't shot enough. Maybe we're really good defensively because we play a lot of defense in practice. Maybe we need to shoot more in practice, and we'll make a conscious effort moving forward to do so.
Do you think being back on their home court helped that at all?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like we've played significantly better at home, so I don't want to put it on the venue. It's just a matter of guys just feeling better about what they're doing. Right now, we've played like a team that doesn't believe we're going to make any shots, and there's a lot of evidence the last 2 games specifically to make them feel that way, but you just got to play your way through it. Basketball is a long season. You can't get too high when things are going well, and you certainly can't kill yourself when you're not playing as well. We just need a few guys to make a few, and then it spreads. It's just like bad confidence or lack of confidence spreads. We actually talked to them about the way we play, not necessarily winning games, but early in the year, guys play with a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of it was because a lot of different guys were having success, and now we've had a stretch where several guys haven't played well, and you go through all of it throughout the course of the season at some point.
Mike, a good example, we just had Avery and Lindy. I'm not saying Avery had deer in headlights look, but you can tell he's more impacted by what's going on, and Lindy's like, hey, been there, done that, we're going to fight through it and get there on the other side. So as a coach and as your staff, you guys have to pay a little closer attention to the younger guys, just because this is maybe more impactful on them?
Yeah, I mean, we pay attention to all of them. We know the young guys haven't necessarily gone through the type of struggles that some of them have faced so far, so you kind of got to be a little bit more conscious of watching their body language, watching their demeanor in practice and in games. But you make a great point. I would argue Avery's been our most consistent player for about 3 weeks now, and it's been because he had his struggles early. He was turning the ball over at a high rate. He wasn't really getting the ball where he needed to, and he was able to play himself through that. And now he's kind of come out on the other side feeling pretty good. That it's just part of the season. So we got some older guys going through it now, and they've been through it. So hopefully their confidence will come back pretty soon as well.
So many times when a team has some struggle shooting, it spreads throughout the game. How big a positive is it? It doesn't seem to be doing that with this group.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm not going to say we've played well at all. I mean, playing well includes making shots, so that's a part of it. However, I feel so good about what we can still become because usually, especially from an offensive standpoint, when you don't play well offensively, I've been around this game long enough to know guys just stop playing defense. And you find yourself in a place where you don't do anything well. These guys have been able to continue to buy into, hey, we just got to keep fighting defensively, and eventually the shots will start falling, and we'll find ourselves having more success.
It wasn't in terms of shooting slumps, but do you use like past experiences? Underwood's first year, you guys start the conference like 0-6. You kind of use that to show your guys, listen, we didn't start that well, but we want to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to compare the teams. They're different, right? We had a pro point guard, and watch out what Keaton is, the best shooter in the school's history, to kind of help us through that. We don't have that from an experienced talent standpoint, but we do have guys who did go through that and did come out successfully. And it's just a matter of keeping them in a positive frame of mind. The challenge with these guys this day is everywhere they're turned, they're either great or they're terrible. Right? There's very little perspective or nuance anywhere, and we have to fight that off, knowing that when they leave here, they're going to be inundated with one or the other. So our job as a staff is to try to keep them level-headed as much as possible. Encourage them when they're not doing well. Make sure they keep things in perspective when things start. Like Avery, got to make sure he doesn't think that he's playing perfectly. He's playing better, but he's got to keep getting better. So that's been the focus. It's just we'll get through this. We believe we have the right guys. We believe we have the kids that care about the right things, and we'll figure out a way to have success moving forward.
You mentioned Avery. Have you kind of loosened the reins on him a little bit? Has he kind of found his rhythm?
I don't know if I've loosened the reins. I think he's just, it's a process with these guys. It takes a little time, and it takes, putting your hand on the stove and getting burned. Sometimes you do it twice for some reason. But eventually, I'm not gonna touch that stove when I see that red light on. And that's what he's doing now. He's taking less chances and playing more under control. He's seeing things better as a result of the game slowing down. And then, when you play well, you feel better about what you're doing, and obviously he's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Because you talked about how in high school he was the guy.
Sure.
He's had to adjust to that.
Sure.
Do you feel like that's what he's figured out finally?
Yeah, and that's not to say he can't be a really high-level contributor for us. We just don't need him to think he's got to do what he had to do for his high school team. Because I don't want to send a message that I recruited him because of a lot of things that he did in high school. I still need him to be able to do those things confidently for us. You just got to be in the right time, right place, and obviously I think he's a great example of a kid who just continued to follow the process.
Avery mentioned how he thought this season the team confidence was at its highest. He said like a 9 when you all were in New York. What do you think was behind that? Was it just everyone pitching in?
Yeah, it was early in the year. We got out to a good start. Winning is an interesting cure-all, right? It makes you feel better about everything you're doing. I made the reference to our team when I talked to him yesterday. Obviously, if Ice doesn't get hurt after New York, and if the Detroit Pistons were coming in here that following week, I think our guys would have thought they could have won. I don't think we could beat the Pistons with all of our guys playing as well as they can. Right now, I'm not sure who could come in here that they would be sure they couldn't lose to. And it's kind of that extreme, right? And we just got to, again, find that middle ground where we just keep working, understand we're going to have struggles, and we'll come out of it on the other side.
Avery said, back in high school, he was top dog. He's not used to losing slumps. Does that concern you at all with your freshmen of, some of them dealing with a losing streak for the first time?
I don't know about concerns me. It's good that they're conscious of it in my mind. And that was a big point that I made when we recruited those guys. We recruited a lot of them because they've won and they understand what winning looks like. Don't mean they never lost. It means they know how to respond to losing and get themselves back going again. I actually talked to Caleb on a bus ride back and asked him if he had ever lost 3 games in a row. And I don't know if he has. So it's a new experience for a lot of them, but in a way that they understand what it takes to win so they can get back to working on the things that'll help us.
How much tinkering, if at all, do you do with half-court sets, and could that be more hurtful than beneficial, I guess?
You always look at things you can adjust. I think honestly, I think we've played too slowly here recently. Part of it is, again, when you start 0 for 10 from 3, it makes you second guess. We passed up some shots. I charted the 19 threes that we took on Saturday, and 12 of them were shots that if we don't take, we can't have success. We can't think about whether we missed them. We just have to continue to believe that if we do what these guys are doing, working on their games, investing in themselves personally, that we won't shoot poorly forever. We got guys, like I said, who are proven that they can, shoot consistently in games in this amount of time. But from a half-court standpoint, I think we need to speed up the game a little bit more. We got to get more possessions. Playing games in the 40 is not going to be a recipe. I think Mr. Iber might have been able to get away with it. Obviously, it wasn't as many lines. There's no three-point line. There was no shot clock, and he'd be proud of our defense, but I'm not even sure he'd be happy with us offensively right now.
You shook up the starting lineup too. What went into that?
You know, as a coach, I'm searching for ways to give our guys a different way to think. And obviously, Yor was the person who impacted. Just give him a chance because he hasn't played consistently well. Maybe he needed to see the game from the start. A little bit different. Obviously, it wasn't the answer. It didn't help us that much. So we'll continue to try to find ways to put ourselves in a position that we can get off to a good start. But again, I think the biggest thing we can't, if we make shots, even not a high level, I'm not saying if we have to shoot 50%, but if we shot 30% in either of these last two games, I don't know if we're talking about a different outcome, but we're talking about a different ending. And that would be still in the 30% range for both of those games. So we're not far off, and it's just a matter of a couple going in and guys starting to feel better about what they're doing.
Was it a matchup thing with TCU put Yor to the 4-guard lineup?
Not necessarily. I mean, they had a center.
Yeah.
It was a traditional center. We could have gone either way. I just thought for him maybe he always, if he doesn't start, he doesn't pick up a foul in the first minute of the game. You know, it may be psychologically for him he's worried about fouling. I don't know. But as a staff, my job is to continue to search for different ways to give our team a chance to have success.
Earlier in the year, you said you wanted to see Jonathan look a little bit more comfortable out there on the court.
Yeah.
What have you seen of him now, putting him in the starting lineup? Does he look a little more comfortable to you?
He I don't know. It's been a kind of a head scratcher for me because he practices very well, as consistently as anybody we have, and it just hasn't showed up in games for whatever reason. But I don't believe in giving up on kids. Now, can we continue to play him and start him if he's not producing ultimately? Probably not. He's mature enough. We've had conversations one-on-one about that. He's got to play better when his opportunities are there. But I believe that he's about the right things. He wants to help our team win, and whatever that looks like moving forward, he'll be comfortable with.
Marcus entered the transfer portal. Can you kind of talk about what happened with Marcus?
It's a really challenging situation. There's not a whole lot that I can say. It's kind of a personal issue. Obviously, I talk to him all the time. I visit with him today. I want to see the kid get to a place where he can have success. And whatever that looks like, I'm going to support. And until there's more information to share, there's not a whole lot that I can go into as this process continues to play itself out on campus.
So he is done now.
He's in the transfer portal. I don't know if
you have the option at that point.
Sure. I don't know if this thing is final. He hasn't gone to another school. He hasn't started classes somewhere else. So I still think we're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern. We can't use his scholarship now, so we're not going to replace him at this point. But as we get more information, and you guys know, I'll tell you exactly when we know more, exactly where we are. It's a really unfortunate situation all around. And for everybody involved, I don't think that this is going to be something that they enjoyed going through, but maybe something down the line that we all can learn from and figure out how to avoid moving forward.
Whenever we were talking about Cade signing, you mentioned driving to St. Louis X amount of times to see Courtney. Just how to see him advance in the second year now?
I don't watch them as much until obviously we start preparing for them. I cheer for all these guys, man. Whether we get them or not, obviously I don't want them to play well on Wednesday. But whatever success they have, I'm all for it. I want all these kids, everywhere, to go on and have a great experience in college. Be the best they can be. If they can go make money playing basketball, do it. But he's a really good kid from a great family, and whatever success he has outside of Wednesday, whenever we play him again, I want to cheer for him.
Is there a guy that you've recruited harder that hasn't made it to OSU?
Oh man, you kind of caught me off guard there. I recruited Tyrese Maxey pretty hard. Wound up going a freshman at Kentucky now. Those are probably the closest. We weren't as close at the end with Tyrese. He decided pretty early. But in terms of going all the way to the end of a process, Courtney's as close to it. I had a kid, Stacy Poole, who bring up Kentucky again back in my South Carolina days that I recruited for 2.5 years. And, it was so our relationship is so good. The kid called me crying, literally. Now he's coaching basketball in Jacksonville, where he was from, and we still have a really good relationship. He coaches some young guys, and he sends recommendations on. But it happens. I mean, when you do this thing the right way, which I believe is, from a genuine relationship standpoint, you can ultimately get over what school they choose and really cheer for them and still have a relationship with them moving forward.
Appreciate it.